Hey, I'm Henry, and today we're going to go through some flexibility exercises I like to do on French horn. Um, these exercises are really helpful in connecting pitches. I find that when I used to do warm ups that were really focused on long tones, I was good at hitting individual notes, but not connecting to and from them. And so, yeah, today's mostly going to be focused on doing some flexibility exercises. And one of my favorites is this one I got from my teacher when I studied at Colburn. And one way I like to warm it up when things aren't feeling as fluid is try flutter tonguing it. And so I'll do it down a half step, flutter tongued. It works really well because it requires like a certain amount of like engagement in your abs, like support, basically, to really get the air out and keep the tongue going like that. And so when you take the flutter tongue out, it works so much better. Your neighbors will hate you. They will hate you for sure. But it is unfortunately one of the best ways to practice. So. So one thing I like to focus on while I'm doing these is to try to get the in between of the pitches right. I don't want to really be like skipping around. Although it sounds like I'm flipping between these three pitches, in reality I'm kind of playing everything in between, and the top note and the middle note are just coming out whenever they're going to come out. It's sort of like just bending upwards until a note happens. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to happen the first time I play it through, and because I don't really want to be like manipulating my face. I just want to see how my face is responding the day of. And then based off of that, then I can get the timing right. So I'm finding trouble on that one. So I'm going to zoom in on it. I wonder why I'm having trouble on it. Maybe it's got something to do with support, or that my speeding up of my air isn't super consistent. So those two times I just supported a lot. And then this time I'll also add the fact that you can get the airspeed just right for each note by having really accurate vowels. And so for the mid-low register, I like to go tour. I'm talking over here, tour. And then I'll speed it up to go ta by the time I'm inside the staff. And the same thing will be true as I keep descending down. Stuff in the mid-register, flexibility exercises in the mid-register can be really tricky. Yeah, that one was tricky. But I think doing the vowels is really helping. Like to. All right, exercise number 2. We've gotten low enough on that. I really like this one also I got from my teacher at Colburn. I like it because it goes slurred to articulated, and so making sure all of that gets coordinated is pretty tricky, and so that's why it's really useful as a exercise to do in the morning, because you get all the benefits of playing it slurred and then continuing the feeling of like engagement in your abs as you go through and articulate it. So it can be really helpful to also flutter tongue this, but also to huff it, like breath attack each one rather than articulate it. You can do a huffed version. So rather than doing slurred articulated, I'll do this next one slurred huffed. Okay, now I'll try it huffed articulated. Yeah, nice. I find when I do these breath attacks, my pitch becomes way more present in all of my notes, especially my short notes. I'm kind of like obsessed in getting as much pitch as possible into the sound, and by breath attacking it, you really get that. So we can go down a half step. It's important to have a good articulation on each one, have like the front of each note be really clear, and that can be tricky doing this at faster tempos. And one thing that I'm really focusing on is keeping my lips close together. As part of like all of my warm-ups, I feel like it's so important to have a really efficient setup, and one of the best things you can do is have your lips be really close together. So before I start notes, I only discovered this also when I was in college, and I came up with this theory where I would hear like trumpet players have this like sound of their lips separating through their horn as they would start their notes. And so I'd always thought that you'd like create your aperture like this and then send air through it. But now I sort of start with my lips not like really tense and tight, but closed. And then I send air through that. The breath attacking is working a lot better, so I'll do it down a half step and breath attack. And one way to stop your lips from like pulling apart or as you go into the low register, that's sort of a death sentence when you're doing flexibility exercises. If your lips get too far apart, there kind of is like no putting them back together, and if you're going between low and high really fast, it's just not possible. So it's really important to keep your lips as close together as possible. Oof, that was a breath attack version. It's so much more ab support when you do it that way. It gets really into hard mode as you do flexibility exercises in the lower register too, because the tubing on the horn gets longer and longer. Like when you're doing something on trigger, it's as short as the horn will ever get, and it's really easy to get notes to articulate, which is why it's so great to use B flat side to get really crisp and clear articulations. But then when you do stuff on the F side on really long fingerings, then it becomes a lot harder to get the same clarity, especially at the front of the articulations. So that's why it's getting harder as it's getting lower. Okay, so open is next. All right, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna do this one flutter tongued so that so that it works. Okay, we need all the support we can get. So one thing that is also super helpful is to start from a breath that is not like half full, but like 100% full or like 95, like basically like comfortably full, because when you breathe fully in, it has an effect where the air wants to get itself out, and so that is creating this like really natural support that is super helpful for controlling your airspeed and having your sound be really consistent. So going down another half step, starting on B, from a completely full breath. Okay, that's easier, but I think I also need to add the flutter, unfortunately. I feel so bad for my neighbors every time I do this. All right, we're almost near the end of exercise number 2. Oh, you get lightheaded doing this low. Okay, 1 and 3, and then 1, 2, and 3 are the last two. I'm gonna try this fluttered, and to make sure that my lips stay really close together. Sometimes I feel like it's like a lawnmower or something. It's not always about making things sound good in your warm-up. It's just about making things that don't sound great sound just like 1% better. That was all right. I think my lips came a little bit far apart, so I'm gonna try to keep them like I'm going the entire time that I'm playing. Wow, that did not work at all. Then maybe it has to do with the support, so I'll try breath attacking it. That's like all your air. This one is by far the hardest that you can do this exercise. 1, 2, and 3. Beast mode. It is difficult to make this last one sound good. I'm gonna try. So fluttered and then fluttered and breath attacked, and it's like the amount of engagement you use, it's like probably close to what you use for a high C, in terms of like how much your abs are working. Okay, that one got better, but what's happening is that my air is too fast. When you go down into the low register, your air has to slow down, and so my air has to be much slower on the descent for this harmonic exercise. So I'm going to think about what the vowels would be. Toe. Mostly toe. To make sure that my tongue drops down as I'm playing through to slow down the air. It's almost like you have to set for only this register. I'll also try getting a bit more contact of, I find that when I go into the low register, having like a buh, so my bottom lip to kind of like come out a little bit more helps with keeping the contact of the buzz. All right, we did it. Wow. I bet the lower register is going to sound good today. Because we figured that out, and it's really difficult to make 1, 2, and 3 flexibility exercises sound good. There was one I used to do in undergrad. It was like a Teuber exercise, but I don't really remember it. So I'm going to do some high register flexibility exercises now. And my priorities are keeping my lips really close together as I do this. And keeping my lips close together from the very start of the very first note is super important, as well as you do the descent, it's really easy to like have your lips sort of pull apart and to keep them really close together. It helps. Sometimes I catch myself, I'm definitely a horn off the leg player, because the angle required to play high is lower than when you play in the low register, where the angle kind of can end up higher. And so when I play horn on the leg, once I end up in the high register, I end up struggling in these exercises. So it's a good reminder and a warm-up to play in all registers so that you don't sort of pigeonhole yourself into only being able to play into like the high or low register for the day. I'm mostly focusing on the in-between of notes as well, not so much trying to get every single pitch exactly where I want it to go, but to sort of feel like where the horn is telling me it wants the notes to sit, especially in the high register, and feel sort of like how my face is reacting. Also, I'm trying to play with a really bright sound in the upper register because that helps me get my air fast enough to play in the upper register. If I try to play with a really nice, warm, dark sound in the upper register, things just don't work at all. I can't play high. It's brutal. And to play bright, I have a really high tongue position, and make sure that my tongue position stays really far forward. I felt in that last one my tongue was kind of falling back. Another common mistake is to how your corners pull apart as you go into the upper register, and I'm trying to keep them forward. Only one more till we get to the high C. It's feeling okay. I think I could relax a little bit more. It's sort of, it's not like an oxymoron, but one thing that is difficult about playing in the high register on the horn is that it sort of is super stressful. Hey, hey Jake. Yeah, one thing about playing high register on the horn is that it sort of like builds a bunch of tension in you, or at least in me, because it's sort of stressful. Playing high notes on the high horn or on the horn are it's more challenging than playing low notes for me. How long have I been playing? For 20 minutes on this live stream, but for 19 years overall. Yeah, so trumpet player, nice, welcome. Yeah, I'm a professional horn player, and I'm doing a high range warm up right now, or a flexibility exercises to, yeah, just warm up, especially in the high register. Thanks. Okay, that's as high as we go on that exercise. There are some exercises that I can do, like scale pattern exercises that are sort of tricky, that I think are good and healthy for me, but it's a really big challenge. So I have to, I'm going to do an exercise where basically I relax every time before I play up a half step going into the high register because it stresses me out more and more as I go higher. This is also, hey West, this is also like a helpful thing if you have a band director or a conductor who sort of stresses you out, where like every time they do something that stresses you out or beats weird, you can just like physically relax, so that even if things are going whack around you, you become like sort of a pillar of peace. You just start finding some inner peace. Oh, you fellow French horn player. Nice. How long have you been playing? I'm going to do this repeated scale exercise. All right. Years, nice. That's great. What pieces are you working on? If you've been playing 6 years, maybe some Mozart, some Strauss. D flat major is tricky. I don't play it enough to be as fluent in it, so that one's. I'm gonna do that one twice. Hello. One thing that's super important when you're doing flexibility exercises is that you're not just trying to play the notes, that you're trying to play in a really relaxed and efficient way. So that's what I'm going for. And that last time I played, I felt like I felt just too tense. So as I go up in the higher register, I have to like take a deep breath and just chill out a bit. I do not have one, unfortunately. I don't have a hymnal. I'm sure you can find one. I usually go on MuseScore online and can find something nice. I forget how to play in D flat. It's getting harder as I'm playing because it stresses me out, I guess. Maybe I gotta play also with a brighter sound concept. I have 5 people watching. I better not mess up. Yes. Well, yeah, I'm used to playing for bigger audiences, so unfortunately you guys aren't stressing me out. Or I guess fortunately. Can I do an E flat major scale? I can, and I will do that next. But I've almost summited the this exercise. So I think the next one is E flat. It goes up to high B flat. So I got 3 more left. Actually, 4 more left. A. Things are starting to cut out, so that's usually a sign that I have a bunch of water. Playing in the high register is hard enough, and when you have any amount of water in the horn, it gets like way harder. Also, when you're practicing in the high register, you have to take a lot of breaks, so it's good to, like, even if you don't have a whole lot of water, to pretend like you have some. Okay. Articulating it with my tongue on the second version. I'm doing a slurred, and then I'm doing a breath attacked version where I go and that really helps me engage my core as I go into the high register and keep like a really relaxed sound. Oh man, things can go wrong though. Here we go. One left. I always struggled with doing repeated articulations in like the extreme high register. I can't remember what pieces, but like it always impressed me when my colleagues can play like a bunch of repeated high B flats. I more prefer doing stuff like where I just hit a high note and then I don't have to play like 12 repeat articulations in a row. What do you do to help lip stamina? You play low and pedal notes. Yeah. The thing about like doing pedal notes when you're like in the screaming high register is that at least on French horn, it feels like they're 2 different worlds, and so the setup you'd use is completely different. So I find just like chilling out and staring at watching paint dry, or I have a window out here looking at squirrels and stuff. It's a good way to pass the time. All right, I'm on my last one. This is a lot of the high C repeat articulation exercises. Probably, we'll see how it goes. So slurred, breath attack, slurred, breath attack. Okay. Oh, it's done. What's the first piece I learned? I think I have it up on YouTube. Mozart's Fourth Horn Concerto, the Rondo, third movement. I recorded on my laptop when I was 10 years old or 11 years old, and it's like the gain was all the way up and you couldn't turn it down, so it's just like completely, it sounded like an electric guitar. Or it's just completely, if you want to destroy your ears, I think it's on my YouTube channel. Okay, Okay, so now we did a bunch of screaming high stuff. I think I still want to do repeated articulation in the high register, but I probably need to chill out my face for a couple minutes. So let me think of an exercise that I like doing. Maybe do a couple arpeggios that go up an octave, down 2 octaves. I have Beethoven 9 coming up this year. So I have to work on my pedal notes. There's a pedal F. Is it pedal F or low F? I don't know. That one. So I've got to get it a bit more meaty sounding. So one thing I do to do that is by flutter tonguing and bending notes downwards. Flutter tongue is where you keep your tongue, I don't know, it's like how you roll your R's, and then doing that into the low register, sort of like you have to build up this foundation and structure outside while keeping your lips super relaxed. Sounds terrible, but exactly as the exercise is intended. So another thing I do is do chromatic scales down into the low register so that I don't end up doing any really dramatic shifts as I navigate between registers. And I'll do it flutter tongued as well. Try this next time doing the same thing but crescendoing down all the way to the low note, because that's sort of, I feel like, what builds the most structure. And when you're playing a brass instrument, the name of the game is playing into the center of every note. Like every brass instrument has sort of like a range of which you can hit a note, and when you play it exactly where the instrument wants to be played, that is called playing in the center of a note. And finding that you can play as loud, like obscenely loud, obscenely soft. You can have control over the color of your timbre, like changing how your sound is, if it's like really, I don't know, bright, dark, thick, whatever. So I'm gonna try crescendoing into it to see if I can find the center. Okay, yes, that's good. Nice and meaty. So when I'm going to be playing the Beethoven 9, let's see if I can play it in context. You have to play it in such a way that you can get back up 2 octaves right after, and so you're not like spreading completely apart. So that felt pretty good, but you can never really tell in small rooms how it's going to sound especially on pedal notes in a big room. So maybe I'll try that again, but try to get a bit brighter of a sound in the low register, which might be, I don't know, illegal to some horn players, but we'll try it out as an experiment. Yeah, okay, I think I like sort of scooped that low note. So I might be aiming a little too low. How loud could I do that? I listened to it once. Someone had an absolutely beastly pedal F on Beethoven 9. Blew me away. It was Rochester Phil doing it. Yeah, so good. Yeah, nice. And that time I didn't spread my lips apart so far, because if you do that in order to play a low note loud, it's almost impossible to be able to play higher up in the register right after. And that's exactly what you need to do for Beethoven 9. So. Okay. Nice. All right. I feel like I'm sufficiently relaxed again. Oh man, am I gonna do a high register repeat articulation exercises? It'll be good for me. There's something that Don Green, the sports psychologist, talks about called centering. And what it is a routine you give yourself before you set up to play, so that it doesn't feel like the start of a piece is where everything starts and you just kind of take a breath and play and just like whatever happens, and then you figure out like, I don't know, how to get relaxed. It's sort of like a pre-routine before the very first note starts. And it's 3 breaths. It's 1 to relax. And then 2 to think about the kind of music you're about to play. And then lastly to like feel the energy come and put that into the music. And so I'll try a couple of these centering breaths before I go into this high register stuff. So what I really want to do is have a super clear articulation with a lot of pitch in my sound, and to have it not be too physically demanding. So I'll try that. I really want to do breath attack versions and then articulated. So let's start at the F at the top of the staff is the highest note of this. Alright, half step up. Oops, I forgot to breath attack that one. So it's going pretty well so far. So a couple of times I've been chipping from below, and to me that's either a sign of that my air is too slow at the very start of the note, and that's why that's happening. But for me, I think what's happening is I'm sort of preparing too late. Where the note happens, I need to prepare a little bit more so that I'm set before the note starts. There we go. When I brightened up my sound, the articulation got more, or the sound got a lot more clear. And it didn't sound like it was like falling off the pitch. But do I also need to articulate harder in the upper register? I'm not sure. Let me try like really slapping the tongue and see what happens if the articulation is going to start coming out much more clearly. I find that like when I get into the really high register, it's difficult to have a super clear repeated articulation, and that's why stuff like descant horns exist. so that the horn gets shorter, and then it's for the same reason why playing with the trigger down the B flat side, and the F side. The B flat side is a lot more clear when you do repeated articulations versus the F side, especially in the low register. So on a descant horn, you have a high F side, which is even shorter than a B flat. I don't remember what pitch I'm on. I think I'm on A. You have to take a lot of breaks when you play into the high register. How's it going, everyone, today? Do we have any French horn players here? We're almost at the highest note that I go. I guess I could try to go above high C. High C is the note that typically professional horn players are expected to play to. All right, we'll try B. I'm trying to work up to really consistent high Ds. What's going on? What exercises do you guys use to expand your high register? How high does it go? Infinitely high, but the highest note I've ever seen in music is a high E. So that's a fifth higher than the highest note I'm about to play. I'm struggling on the high Bs. I'm gonna check water again. I'm gonna hope there's some water. There is some water. Okay. That might explain it. Yeah, repeated articulations on high notes. Definitely a skill I'm looking to improve. Why? I don't know. Just something to do. I'm doing it at like a forte dynamic. Is it possible to do this at like piano, mezzo piano? Let's see. I'm like so supported. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like definitely like an ab workout. Playing in the really high register when I do it. Okay. This is high C, folks. Repeated articulations on high C. First breath attack, and then on and then articulated. Your high range isn't great. You can reach notes with just a weak sound. Yeah, I found I have always struggled with the high register. I've been more of a natural low horn player, and one thing that I found really helps me is just playing in the right proportions. So I play 2/3 of my practice sessions are in the high register and 1/3 in the low. And so just whatever you do more of is what you get better at, typically. So yeah, once I started, because I'm professionally a low horn player, I mostly play low all the time. I have to spend a lot of time in my private practicing doing like, yeah, this crazy high register stuff, which I almost never do at work. But I have had to play high Cs at work. All right, here we go, high Cs. bit brighter of a sound. It's like the high C is cutting out. I wonder what's... Your low excerpts sound great. The high ones are definitely a challenge. Yeah. What high excerpts are giving you trouble? So if a note is cutting out, it probably means that I'm too tense. So I'll try doing it with my lips really close together, but with less tension. Okay, that worked. And now I have to do the articulated version where actually tongue. I have to chill though. I have to chill for a bit first. Almost done. It's getting better. Oh man, this is sort of like the stuff I least want to do. Till and Firebird? Do you mean the Firebird beep bum 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 or dee da da dee dee dum? First one or second one? Oh man, alright, we're doing it. We're going again. The first one. Yeah, that's so hard. Honestly, Firebird is super tricky. And then there's a very difficult, like, what's it? It's not like, you kind of have to lip trill it, but it's inaudible. Where the first and third is it? Go, and second and fourth go, that part, it gives me so much trouble. And often the section, I find that like the section parts were more difficult than first on that, because you could do a lot more lip trills on first. And last time I played this, we did the full ballet version, and yeah, that was really tricky. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, there's way too much tension. Also, I'm like 48 minutes into a practice session, so things are about to hit an absolute... They're about to fall off massively. Alright, I mean, is that about as good as it's gonna get? Probably. Is there... Can I bring it up a half step? I feel like it sounds just like a little bit tense. And so even though it's not falling off, I feel like I'm going to instantly have trouble if I go up a half step. So I'm going to try this one more time, but just see if I can relax a little bit more. Okay, that worked out great. That was my favorite one. Okay, now up a half step. Now we're going where very few people have gone before. So where very few fourth horn players have gone before, which is above high C. Don't hurt yourself. I'm not in pain. Yeah. I'm never in pain when I play horn, and I suggest for everyone, like, if you ever feel any pain, don't play. Yeah, for high register, I'm not using tons of mouthpiece pressure. I'm using just enough, and I'm using tons of support and like ab engagement. So I guess... Although some brass players do get like hernias and stuff from engaging their abs. But I don't think I'm at risk of that here. I've never done a repeated articulation exercise above high C, so this is going to be a difficult one. But I think this is what's fun about playing a musical instrument. It's like it's just a challenge, and you get to try all these different little experiments and fail and figure it out, like what works and what doesn't. Um, and by changing one ingredient at a time, you'll slowly figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. Okay, we have a breath attack version. Now let's see if we can get an articulated version up to high C sharp. Yeah, you have to take a few breaths to just like chill out. How's it going, everyone? Is it Friday night? I don't have a concert. How's it going, everyone else? Wait, so GM, how long have you been playing horn for? I think I can relax my face a little bit more when I do that. You're a trumpet player switching over to French horn. Got any tips? I've had a lot of French horn students do that and be very successful. So I never did that myself. So, but it's totally doable, totally possible. Um, yeah, my number one thing that I really hadn't figured out when I was in like middle and high school and first starting to play French horn is that to play higher, you blow faster air, and to play lower, you blow slower air. And so, yeah, changing airspeed is more important than anything else you do. And the way I do that is partially with vowels. So to play in the mid register on the horn, I go ta, and to play in the lower register, I go toe, and then I play in the high register, I go t. And so if you go toe ta ti, you'll feel in your mouth that the tongue position is changing of where it sits after the very front of it. Toe sits low, ta sits in the middle, and ti sits higher. And so basically creating a little elevator helps a lot with switching between registers, because when you play horn, you're responsible for like four octaves. So you got to play in all registers, which is why I'm playing in the absolute screaming high register. Although I don't really need this stuff. Although, wait, there is one piece. There's Haydn 31, and I just can't play. I cannot play the repeated high C sharps for the life of me. Well, at least. So I'm going to try to do it more relaxed this time. Yeah, I mean, it sounds really tense. How to make it sound less tense? Maybe the angle needs to be down. Instead of being like this, it could be down even more. Maybe that'll help. It did help. Okay, it's getting more clear and relaxed sounding. So Haydn 31. Oh, man, this is despicable. This excerpt is horrific. Yeah, the high C sharp, repeater high C sharps has always been super tricky. And it has a repeat, so you have to do it twice in a row. So you have to figure out a way to play really high and just stay really relaxed. So maybe it's from what comes before, playing the first like 4 bars of this just as relaxed as possible. You're at 8th grade. You've been playing since 6th, and you can barely hit a high C. Any tips? I mean, you're already, I think, doing great. Good for you. Hitting high C in 8th grade, even barely. That's awesome. I just keep doing it every day, and then if you ever feel pain, stop. Yeah. So when you go into the high register, it's just all about airspeed. So one thing is support. I'm not sure if your teachers have ever talked about this. I made a video on it. So it's only like 4 minutes. It's worthy of checking out, but basically, to get as much air support as possible. You've hit ID once. Nice. Yeah. I wonder, I'm trying to get like my high register above high C to be a bit more consistent and like relaxed sounding. So my highest note that I regularly play is high E flat above the staff. Or yeah. But I'm trying to make my high C repeated articulation on high C sharp sound more relaxed right now. Yeah. Maybe it needs more mouthpiece pressure, but on the bottom lip, so it's anchored, and the angle of the horn to go down. These are sort of like one of the last things that you should kind of be doing. But if I've sort of checked everything else, like support, tongue position. So let me try it more time. Mouthpiece pressure is required to play higher, but most of the time you're using too much of it. But in this case, I need a little bit more. Okay. Are we going to try high D? I mean, I'm almost an hour in, so my face is probably close to failing, but it's feeling okay right now. I'm near the end, everyone. Do you have any more questions, by the way? Yeah, I'll try the high D in binary sunset as well. I'm gonna try doing the repeat articulation first. All right, it's working. The high D works. Can I do a high E? I don't know. Not relaxed. Let me try the high D first. Yeah. One thing that's difficult is the slur from the up to the high D to make that like super clean. One trick you can do is to play something on the F side before and then throw down the trigger. Yeah, I do play French horn professionally. I'm a fourth horn player in an orchestra. So I'm gonna try and experiment with this a Star Wars solo where I do an alternate fingering. Oh, you're having trouble on low B flat? Okay, on Beethoven Horn Trio. I might be able to help you out. We'll work on that next, because that'll be my warm down. But for back to Star Wars. The F is normally on trigger, but it can be a trick to play something on the F side because it's a longer piece of tubing. You can blow deeper into it, and then you can throw down the trigger, and then it'll help shoot you up into the higher register. So maybe I'll try playing the F on the F side, and let's see how that goes. So I'll do it on 1, and then I'll throw down the fingering for high D. I'm not sure how that went. one to trigger one. For high D, you can basically use any fingering you want in the whole universe because the harmonics are so close together. Would trigger open work? It's something about oh, wait, let me try this. I wasn't setting for the highest note of the phrase. That's generally good advice, is to set for the highest note of a phrase before you play the first note. So can I play an A in the staff, but be set up for the high D before I even start? It's about getting the slur from the F to the D smoother. So I'm going to try breaking it down either first on the mouthpiece and then chromatically to see there must be some break in my buzz. I try to like connect everything with a really ooey gooey buzz. And if you hear some notes like not coming out, then it usually means that something's going wrong. So let's hear. It sounds like I'm just like aiming a bit too low for the high D and sitting around the C sharp. So how do I get all the way up to the high D? Also, I mean, this is you doing crazy high practice at the end of a practice session. It's gonna lead. I'm gonna hit the wall real soon. What mouthpiece do I use? This is a JK 3DK. Oh. It's a Euro mouthpiece because I switched horns this year and it worked much better with it. So I used to play Yamaha 30 C4, which I liked. It was a little pea shooter. It was good, small. And then I liked the Houghton H3 I used on my old horn. It sounded great. Good for low stuff. And a decent all-around mouthpiece too. Could play high. It's just like that last percentage, I think, is what's going on. Is that I'm aiming too low. My face has told me. It is decided there will be no more notes above high C today. Usually I limit notes above high C to only a few minutes, so that's why I'm taking super long breaks in between, I don't know, attempts, experiments. But yeah, that's it. And then now back to the low register, and then we'll finish out. So how to get the low B flat sounding good on Beethoven 3 in a completely opposite. If we could do anything more different. So let's think. Do you have a good low B flat in general? Like, can you play a B flat and it come out really clear? Can you articulate it, sing? You can get it out, it just doesn't pop, it's unstable. I mean, that's telling me that it's almost certainly, it's probably uncentered when you are playing it. So the way to find the center of a pitch in the low register, you can do a bend and bump where you play on the same fingering, one harmonic above, and then you bend it down until the note pops out, and right where it pops out is where the center of that note's going to be. So we've done it a few times where you repeatedly bend it down. And so the next step is to go bum, and then rearticulate it. So you find the center and you rearticulate in the center. Okay. And the goal is on the bend to do like a crescendo down so the low note can pop out. The first time you do these bending exercises, they're not going to pop out. It's really tough. Andy. It was like Papa was writing that message himself. Oh, nice. Hey, Andy, how's it going? So for playing the low B flat in the context of Beethoven 3, you have to get the air slowed down and get playing into the center very quickly. Oftentimes your lips can spread apart as you're descending in the low register. It's really helpful to have a lot of mouthpiece pressure on the bottom lip when you're in the very low register. So to help it, to like kick out the bottom jaw, bulldog it. That can be curse advice. You don't necessarily need to do that, but it helps with creating some stability and slowing down the air. Yeah, I find that I also kick out my jaw to do the eighth notes because I'm playing it much louder than the other notes around it, because shorter notes will need a bit more oomph in order to carry out in the hall. So I don't know, an exercise to try might be bum 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 bum, and see if you can get. Also, the difference between the two Fs, bum bum, you're probably gonna want to play the second one short, like very short, so that you can get all the way down to the low B flat. Okay, well, this concludes the live stream. I'm gonna do my last little warm down. If anyone's a last minute question, you're welcome to ask. But when you play tons of high notes, you got to play a couple low notes and then call it a day. All right, I'm headed out. Take care, everyone. Bye.